4-week independent project, I chose to work in Adobe Dimension. And I was supposed to learn the basic tools and make a custom design. So Adobe Dimension can be used for making any 3D design, so mock-ups, packaging, and more. And it's very unique from some of the others because you create a full, complete scene. So you create not just the objects, you create the ground, background, lighting, pretty much the entire environment, front and back. So that's pretty cool. And for learning it, I mainly used the Adobe website, which I've learned that pretty much anything to do with Adobe, you should go to their direct website because all of their tutorials and stuff are very clear and they're always for the current upgraded version normally, which is very nice. So that's a great resource. The other two resources that I used out of my 3 were just 2 other YouTube videos. One described how to make custom 3D models with interacting with Illustrator, Photoshop, and Dimensions all together. Then my third one that I used was just going into more detail about essential tools that you'll be using. And all of these resources and all of the links will be in the description below. So you can check those out if you want to learn it. So first, going into the program, it's good to learn the choices that it offers for design. So one of the things you can create and insert into your projects are the 3D models. And there is some stock within Dimension already, so you don't have to customize everything, which is kind of nice when you're first starting out, so you can kind of mess with that. Then you have materials that you can choose from, and all of them have their different properties, like roughness, density, and so on. You can also change them and alter them as well to suit what you want later on, so that's pretty cool. Some of the materials include glass, leather, I think there's even water. So there's a variety to check out and use. You can also, like I mentioned earlier, deal with lighting. So you can adjust the type, placement, intensity, the color to where you want it. And you can also insert images, which this pertains to adding on images to your 3D models and or background. Next, it is good to know your camera in the program to navigate your workspace. There are 7 options, so there's a lot to mess with and use. I personally mainly used 3 of them, which I found very helpful in my project. The first one was the orbit tool. You can rotate around the X, Y, and Z axis, and the shortcut is number 1. And then with the shortcut number 2, you can use the pan tool, which this is moving your camera from side to side, up and down, flat on your screen view, like shown in the video. Then you can also use the dolly tool with the shortcut number 3, and this is how you zoom in and out from your scene. And from working within it, I found out that it's good to make bookmarks with your camera. And how you would do this, there's an option up in the top right corner. And I also forgot to mention, if you just hover over these buttons, they kind of show you what it is already. So you can probably easily find the camera bookmarks. So once you find that, you click it, and there should be a plus that you click as well to create a bookmark of when you find the view that you want to keep. Then when you make the bookmarks, all you'll have to do is click that bookmark and it'll automatically zap you to that place, which creates a faster work experience, and it's just very nice. Once I found out how to use bookmarks, I made quite a few bookmarks, so always make them. Another point I focused on learning for my project was interacting with other Adobe apps along with Dimension to create a custom design, especially a custom 3D model. But first I created in Illustrator a logo, slogan, and little elements to go on objects. So for Illustrator, you can make 2D images to export and then import into Dimension. And then you can also use Photoshop to create 3D models. So first you would I personally use Illustrator to create first a 2D image. You could probably use Photoshop to do that, but Illustrator to me is much easier to do. So you create a 2D image, and then if you're an Illustrator, you export it out and put it into Photoshop. Then from Photoshop, you click the little 3D option up at the top for your toolbar, and you create a 3D layer for on top of your 2D image, and then it'll pop up as 3D, kind of like in this video here. And then once you get to this point, you can always distort it and make it how you want. And yeah, and then once you get it the way you want, you can export it out as a wavefront OBJ, which is the file format you'll need to import it into Dimension. Then once you did that, all you have to do is go to Dimension, and there's a plus up at the left top corner, and you'll just click that, go to import your content, and then 3D model, and then you will just choose your file, and then once you do that, it'll just pop up in your workspace. And that is how you make and import in 3D models that you customize. So, putting everything I learned together, these were the results I got. So this is the overall view. I made a shirt, mask, and a little bag for packaging. And here are them closer up. I didn't make all of the 3D models. So like the t-shirt 3D model and the bag, they were just in the stock that Adobe had. The mask I completely made, and all the images I customized myself too. So yeah, after everything was done, I learned some things I really can use in the future, and some things I wish I knew from the very start. So branding, I learned, takes quite a lot of time. So if you're ever doing anything in branding, make sure you give yourself time, because it takes a lot more time than you think. And then learning the camera early on will help you a lot with navigating your workspace. So it's key to work in Dimension. Learn that, it's important. It's also important to pay attention to your file formats, because if you're exporting and importing into another application, one to another, every application needs a specific file type. So if you have the wrong one, it won't import right, and so it's just good to be aware of what your file format is, especially when exporting. And I also learned that when you customize a lot, that it involves a lot of problem solving, because the design that you want won't magically appear the first time. It'll take a couple tries, but just trust the process. So that is my independent project. Hope you enjoyed it.